Good morning, guys. Welcome to the day on the water. We got some really great conditions today. The weather's giving us a break. It's been a while. We've been battling some very windy weather. We're headed out into the middle of Redfish Bay. We're going to be throwing some ultralight spinning gear, topwater action. The reds and the trout are really looking for that kind of stuff at this time of year. We expect to see a lot of bait fish on the water. It's the time of year when everything is hatching out. A lot of life in the bay. Little fish, little crabs, shrimp, all those things are really starting to hop around. So top waters and soft plastics and some aggressive predators, it's a great combination. We're gonna be drifting over sand holes, grass beds, 2 to 3 feet of water. This time of year, the tide is at a great range where we have a lot of flats that are accessible. The wind is great for drifting and covering a lot of water. The tide is absolutely perfect. We got this crazy Saharan dust cloud today, giving us a little relief from the sun, making some very interesting sunrises and sunsets over Redfish Bay. Whenever we're drifting these flats, we're always looking for action. We like to see some life in the water. The mullet, the bait fish, it's always the first sign to narrow down your search. There's a lot of water. There's miles and miles of endless flats. So you look for clues that are gonna give it away. You wanna narrow down that search to where you're gonna cast. If you see one mullet jumping and drifting around, normally there's a whole school of them under there. So a little careless behavior by one fish can give it away for everybody. Some people get caught up in the mullet trap. They see those fish, they see the bait fish, and they will sit there and just relentlessly pound them. You got to know when to give up on those spots. It is enticing to stay there and cast at those bait fish, but there's times when you just have to continue your search. A good technique out here on the flats is a drift sock. We like to control our drift, slow it down so that every cast puts you in a fresh sand hole, but you don't want to move past those things. If the boat is moving too fast on a windy day, you lose the natural presentation of your lure. You want your lure. It's critical that that looks like a wounded bait fish out there jumping around. And if your boat is moving super fast and you're racing your lure back to the boat, you're going to miss some opportunities. So we're going to go ahead on and take off and head to another flat. Some days these trout can be kind of picky, and it's a real specific technique that gets them to bite. So what you want to do, and plus this water that we're in right here is probably 4 to 6 feet deep today. It's really high tide. Fishing the edge of a sandbar out here, kind of in the middle off of the drop off. So when the worm hits the water, you want to let it sink. Give it about 5-6 seconds, just let it go down to the bottom, and you give it a couple of sharp pops, a couple of sharp strikes to get them to think about it and look at it, and then just kind of give it a steady swim across the bottom, pop it up again, let it sink down. You don't want to go too fast. You got to really let it get down there, let them take a good look at it. If you bring it up too close to the surface, or if it swims past them, they will lose interest in it. They will just watch it swim away. But if you pop it on their face once or twice, you'll get a reaction out of them. Okay, so you keep casting right towards the edge of the sandbar, and we're going to drift in nice and easy. Oh, damn it. There it is. Fish on. Beautiful little speckled trout. Pretty typical of what we catch out here on the edge of the flats. Speckled trout are under temporary restrictions at the moment. The limits have been changed since the big freeze of a year ago. Speckled trout were decimated due to the freeze. Thousands and thousands of fish were killed up and down the coast. So the limits now are 17 inches to 23 inches with a bag limit of 3 per person. So there's a lot of pressure on the resource. There is more pressure now than there's ever been. And without special measures, you know, there won't be fish in the future for everybody to enjoy. So for the time being, it's gonna work great. And within 2 or 3 years, we should be back to where we were before. Let go right towards the brown spot. The dark spot in the water over here is a shallow sandbar. What's dark on top of it is actually the grass beds. The shallow water allows seagrass to grow right on top of that. So it will attract shrimp and crabs, and when you make a good cast right to the edge, That's where they're living.
One. Oh, it's a bigger one.
Do we need the net?
Oh, dang it.
Good action though.
Man, that one was a good one.
That was a good hit right on cue. And look, if you see where that other little brown patch is, it goes, stretches out that way. We got some good area right here in front of you. But look, don't let that fish get you excited. Let it sink. They can be picky sometimes. Look at that, fish on. That was a sweet release. It's just nice to see him swim away. Hey look, sea turtle. Well, he's gone, he's under the boat. Cool, lazy sea turtle swimming right by the boat. You never know what you'll see out here. That was one of those hawksbill.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right to the camera. That's good action though. Jumped right into the camera, that was badass.
That's pretty interesting.
It's a gap top.
Don't let that thing stick you.
So this is an interesting catch. Quite often along with the speckled trout, we find mega schools of gaff top. It's a gaff top sail catfish. Really fun to fight, hangs around in schools. Same place we catch speckled trout, really fun byproduct, but every fish is a good fish. Nice little speckled trout. Hit the K-Wig ball tail shad. One of my favorite colors. Love to throw this a lot. It's called the Mansfield Margarita. This lure offers some nice contrast. Don't know what it is about the chartreuse tail, but the fish absolutely love it. Another important part of the combination is the line to leader connection. Today we're using 20-pound fluorocarbon leader, adds a nice insurance policy. The abrasion resistance is very important. All the fish in saltwater have teeth, so they all have the ability to bite through your line. The braided line gives you the ability to cast nice long distances, but if that braided line gets inside a fish's mouth, the chances of them chewing it or biting it off are very likely. So we use 20-pound fluorocarbon, about 18 inches at the end of the braid, tied to the lure with a loop knot, is a great insurance policy when you get that big fish hooked up. Fluorocarbon, some of the really cool properties is that it is invisible in the water. It's also very stiff, opposed to mono, which will kind of loop up. Another advantage of the fluorocarbon is whenever your lure is attached to it, it lays straight in the water. So as the lures are bouncing around and swimming naturally in the water, they have a tendency to not grab the line, and that's a huge advantage. All right guys, pretty fun day today. Steady speckled trout action, a lot of fun, a lot of catch and release. Let these guys swim away to fight again another day. We certainly do appreciate y'all joining us for a day on the water. If you enjoyed it, tune in next time. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like on us. If you have questions or comments, feel free to comment. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.